The horizontal coordinate system uses two measurements, altitude and azimuth. We're going to start off looking at azimuth. Azimuth is an angle of the object around the horizon, starting from north. So therefore, if a star was located at north, we would consider it to have an azimuth of 0 degrees. If we then move round to a star that was in the east, we'd have moved 90 degrees around our circle, so we'd have said it has an azimuth of 90 degrees. Following around the cardinal point, south would have an azimuth of 180 degrees, and west would have an azimuth of 270 degrees. These are the points you're most likely to get questioned on in an exam. However, we could also use the points halfway in between, and again we can work these out. Northeast, being halfway between 0 degrees and 90 degrees, would have an azimuth of 45 degrees. The southeast would be again halfway between 90 and 180, and would have an azimuth of 135 degrees. Southwest would be 225 degrees, and northwest 315 degrees. The altitude is sometimes referred to as the elevation or the apparent height of an object, and it's the angle between the horizon and a star. If we consider the two viewing points, the horizon would be based at 0 degrees, the lowest point, and the highest point, directly above the observer, we call the zenith, and this would be 90 degrees. Therefore, a star's altitude will always range between 0 and 90 degrees, depending on its altitude. If we take this star here, the altitude is simply the measure of the angle between the horizon and its direct straight line to the star, which in this case is 35 degrees. If we observed a star that was higher, had a higher altitude, again we would work out the angle between the horizon and that star, and in this case it would be an altitude of 60 degrees. Using both the measurements of altitude and azimuth, we can therefore determine exactly where a star is in the night sky for a particular observer. You can use this simple device, a clinometer, to determine the altitude of a star. This is quite a common exam question, as a common mistake that people make. Here you can see that the clinometer is angled towards the star, which would be in the sky up here. To determine the altitude, you've got this plumb line that drops directly vertically down to ensure that your clinometer is set correctly. It's very easy therefore to determine the altitude and to look at this number here, which is somewhere around about 114 degrees. However, as we previously said, the altitude of a star can only be between 0 and 90 degrees, so this number is obviously wrong. And the reason is, if we remember, when we're actually determining the altitude, we're interested in the angle between the horizon and the star itself. So we're determining this angle here. And in this case, that would be 26 degrees, which we can read off our clinometer here. So again, don't be fooled in the exam. Remember, the altitude is always between 0 and 90 degrees, and you have to remember to record the angle between the horizon and your star, and not just reading off the bottom here. Now you've mastered the altitude and azimuth, have a go at the Kahoot for our examples, and good luck.